Chair can allow me before I respond, I actually want to stand up. People have been dying to see this BBL. They were expecting Tebogo Tobejane, Faith Nketsi. And I must say, Chair, I've actually had more guys approaching me now over the phone to say, can we go out? So I think everybody wants to test drive. I wouldn't mind standing. I wouldn't. That has become a national asset, so it must be seen before I respond to the question. I'm not sure if you see it, if it's there, but I don't see it. Thank you very much.
Actually, one DM of the police showed me your picture and said, "What is BBL here?"
Exactly my point.
A Brazilian butt lift for you.
Yeah, and I must read this because it was for me a sore point in my career that I could just be taken so low after working so hard to be where I am with my integrity intact up until that moment when somebody thought under oath he could just get away with it. I wish to submit to this committee that it is rather gravely unfortunate that I have to respond to this. And for me, I must say, Mr. Matlala, the cybercrime, you can actually, cyber, what do you call them? Competencies. You can trace the money that I paid for my procedures. And I've given all of those statements as evidence to the evidence leaders. It's available for the committee to see, from my credit card to my check card to Dr. Pett, who actually did my procedures. I'm not shy, honorable members, to say I take care of myself. Being a police officer doesn't mean that you can just give up and people see us. We've got young women who must look at us as leaders, that actually I can do the job. We model the badge. So if I had to do this for myself, Honorable Malema, there are times when I wear that uniform and I carry the firearm and I'm like, no, damn, I look good. There are times where I also, like you, I don't see it, but it's all about my body, my decision, and what I deem fit as a woman at my level, with the money that I work hard for, not seeing my kids.
Lieutenant General Hilda Sinchumule, the SAPS Division Commissioner for the Crime Detection, says she only became aware that the Political Killings Task Team had been disbanded almost a month after the decision was taken. Sinchumule revealed this during the testimony on Tuesday, explaining that she first learned of the development through a letter dated 4 February 2025 from suspended Deputy National Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya. The letter informed her that suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu had ordered the disbandment of the specialized unit in a directive dated December 31, 2024, and said, "I never saw the 31 December letter at the time. I only saw reference made in the letter General Sibiya wrote to me." She explained that she had been on leave from January 3 to January 17 and was therefore unaware of the instruction when it was issued. Earlier in her testimony, Sinchumule said she first heard about the matter informally from Crime Intelligence head Dumisani Khumalo, who told her that Sibiya had instructed him to transfer the PKTT dockets to her division. However, she indicated to Khumalo that the instruction had been directed to him and not to her, and said, "We laughed about it, and I said I can't take it further." During questioning by the Economic Freedom Fighters leader, Julius Malema, Sinchumule was asked why she had not paid closer attention to the issue given its significance, and said, "When I was on leave, I was not in touch with the things in the office." She added that when Sibiya later inquired about the transfer of the dockets, she informed him that Khumalo had told her the instruction came from him, and said, "I explained that there was nothing in writing for me that I could actually use as a point of reference to engage General Khumalo in relation to the movement of the PKTT." Sibiya's letter instructed Sinchumule to ensure that the investigation of the cases was properly managed following the disbandment of the task team, and required her to submit a report within 7 days. Sinchumule said efforts to meet with Khumalo were initially unsuccessful. She had experienced a bereavement while Khumalo had other commitments. As the only time we were able to meet was towards the end of February. The two eventually developed an implementation plan which was presented at a meeting attended by Mchunu and senior SAPS leadership. According to Sentumule, the task team was handling 125 dockets, which included cases involving political killings, traditional leaders, matters linked to the University of Fort Hare, and an additional ad hoc investigation. A further 10 dockets had already been referred to the National Prosecuting Authority for a decision. Sentumule said she and Khumalo believed the investigations should be handled by the Senior and Violent Crime Units in KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape, noting that the SAPS head office does not have the operational capacity to conduct investigations and instead focuses on monitoring and intervention. In his presentation to the meeting, Khumalo proposed that the disbandment follow a winding down approach, arguing that an immediate dissolution of the unit will not be practical. A follow-up meeting held on March 6, 2025 to assess progress had that 125 dockets along with the additional 10 will be transferred to the relevant provincial units. New political killings cases will instead be referred to the murder and robbery unit. However, 114 of the existing dockets were to remain with the PKTT until they were finalized. Sentumule said both CB and Mchunu, along with the Minister's Chief of Staff, Cedric Nkabinde, were unhappy with this arrangement and said they were not happy that the political killings task team was still to keep dockets because that would have meant that it was not disbanded. Despite these concerns, the implementation plan was provisionally approved. The meeting agreed that 114 cases would remain with the task team, but that as each case was concluded, the detective responsible for the docket and the combat member assigned for protection would withdraw from the team and return to their original stations. Sentumule said she interpreted this decision as permission to begin the handover process. During March 25, she said Sibiya repeatedly followed up on progress regarding the transfer of the dockets and said the Deputy National Commissioner was adamant that General Khumalo was not pulling his weight. At the time, they were not on talking terms, and I was the buffer between the two of them. She said Sibiya warned that delays in implementing the instruction could be seen as lack of cooperation. A subsequent meeting later that month was cut short after Khumalo reported that 4 additional dockets had been successfully enrolled in court, bringing the number of active dockets to 121. Sentumule said the minister was worried that no handover process had taken place. The process at the time had not taken place. The minister was displeased with both of us. She attributed the delays to competing responsibilities within their respective divisions and said we were not only seized with the matter of the PKTT, there were other obligations. We had to find time. All of us had to be realistic that this was not the only matter on the table. Another meeting to address the issue was scheduled for March 28.